Everyone, welcome to Into the Legit Darkness. I have no idea where Jerry is right this second, but I'll just get started with. Oh, there you are
Yeah, I've been here for like, I don't know, for a little bit.
for a little bit.
Right when you say, I don't know where Jerry's at right
I
now.
don't know where Jerry's at. Never know where Jerry's at. Jerry's always randomly gone. Okay, so tonight, so we are a little late. Oops, our bads. Tonight we're going to talk about Gypsy Rose. Jerry, did you get a chance to watch that interview with the boyfriend, or was because I watched it again? Did
I
you get a
didn't
chance?
get to watch it with the boyfriend, but I
The
did
ex
look at
boyfriend.
what's that?
The ex boyfriends.
The ex boyfriend. But I did watch like two documentaries on her and also bits and pieces of what's that bald headed guy's name? He's got his own show, thinks he's a doctor.
Dr.
Dr. Phil.
Phil. Dr.
Yeah,
Phil.
that's it.
I love Dr. Phil. I watch like Dr. Phil on like YouTube all the time.
Gotcha.
I do like Dr. Phil. The bald guy. He thinks he's
I couldn't remember his name, you know, but
Dr. Phil. Seriously?
who's the guy
Dr.
that keeps
Phil.
staring at us?
Okay. Sorry. I'm oh, it's just a little background thing.
Oh,
So, anyways,
okay. It's
so
just weird. It's like,
let's talk about Gypsy Rose. If you guys don't know, I know I kind of like it. It's kind of cute. So, anyways, we're gonna get started on Gypsy Rose. So, if you guys don't know who Gypsy Rose is, she was a child whose mother Dee Dee made up all these health issues for Gypsy. Do you remember all of them? I do know that it was leukemia, um, sleep
leukemia.
apnea.
She had sleep apnea. Um, she had like high blood pressure. She had, oh my God, she had like a plethora of different diseases. This is what she thought and what her mother kept feeding into her, that they had to feed her from a feeding tube,
Hmm.
all that stuff. It was just horrific. That woman was nuts. And what do they call that? Munch, Munchauser, Munch,
Munch. I can't pronounce
Munchkins.
it, and I pronounced
Uh,
it right
I know
earlier today. It's Munch.
Munchauser, Munchauser.
No, Munchausen by proxy, not Munchkins. That
No,
was kind of
but
funny. Munchkin.
Munchauser syndrome.
Munch. No, you got me on the Munchkin one. It'll come back. Okay, it'll come back to me.
Okay,
So, anyways, her mom knew her mom was a nurse actually, like in like her previous little life or whatever. Um. So, anyways, she knew exactly what to tell the doctors. She had books for dummies, as far as like the nurse situation goes, and she what was it? I think she was a nurse. Like her mom at one point was a nurse. But I do know when Gypsy was younger, she was able to walk because remember she was in a wheelchair. Her mom put her in a wheelchair because of muscular dystrophy. Um, and not everybody with
yep,
muscular dystrophy has to be in a wheelchair. I mean, to be honest with you, they just don't. My mom has, and I'll be the first one to admit, my mom has
right,
muscular dystrophy, but she's not in a wheelchair yet.
right.
Um, and I did hear that when they actually do a graft for like muscular dystrophy, they actually take like some of your skin, um, like in your thigh. That's kind of what I've heard, but I don't technically know, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
So when she was younger, Gypsy's parents got a divorce, right? And I think that's kind of where it all started because Gypsy was able to walk. She was She was a healthy child, and it all started with sleep apnea. Like, honestly, I think half of us can have some sleep apnea. I think sometimes I could too. But it started out with a machine, remember? And then they were living in Louisiana at the time. Hurricane Trina hit, and all of Gypsy's medical records were supposedly lost in this hurricane. So, Habitat for Humanity went ahead and built them a house in Springfield, Missouri, and that's kind of where all of this kind of went, um, where all of this took place. I know you got something to say, Jerry, so go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, so far, 20 people who were very excited about this show is telling me that the link that you gave me is not working. They are very bummed about the show
I'm
because nothing's
sorry.
working.
I didn't put it on there. I just gave you the link.
Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. Um, anyway, so okay, what did you say again? I'm
You could
sorry.
go back to YouTube and you guys can listen to it that way too. So anyways, like I said, it all kind of started when Hurricane Katrina went ahead and they basically lost all of Gypsy's records, right? Because she went from doctor to doctor. So every time a doctor said, like, hey, Gypsy doesn't have this, in all actuality, her mom would just find a different doctor, which I do know that nowadays you can be in trouble for like doctor hopping. If does that make sense?
Right. But they did say in the two documentaries, they did say, one, just like you said, during Hurricane Katrina. But then in the other one, they said that she took it as an opportunity to get rid of those so that she would have more things that she can say to different doctors about what's going on, that she dumped everything that she had.
Well, right. I mean, she kind of did, but it did give her the opportunity. But let's just say, for an example, that records do get lost. Okay, and I will
Right.
say this 110%. There's been a couple times when and Jerry, you know this, you knew that I lived in Minnesota, correct? And it was kind of one of those things like when I moved back from Illinois, some of my records were kind of lost, especially my kids' records, or I'm talking medical records. I'm not talking like birth certificates or anything like that. I'm just
Right.
talking about um some of them I'm like, nope, you have that wrong. Okay. So is it a possibility? It's a possibility. She could have used it. Okay. So now let's talk about them living in Springfield, Missouri. So they're doing Make a Wish foundations. They're going to Disneyland. I've never been there.
Neither
They
have
got
I.
to go to
Yeah.
a Miranda Lambert concert, and me
And they
and
got
Miranda
to meet
Lambert.
her
I'm not a big
also.
Miranda Lambert fan, but yeah. I mean, I would have loved to meet Miranda Lambert.
Right.
Not gonna lie. Um, so this is where it gets a little sticky. Again, Gypsy can walk. She was told at doctor's appointments that she was not allowed to say anything. And you and I both know that when we go into doctor's appointments, and you're a parent just as well as I am, and I'm sure you've taken when your daughter was younger, you've taken your daughter to a doctor's appointment, right? And
Right.
their medical history and so on and so forth, right? And just like I've taken my kids in, and this is the weird thing, and you and I were discussing this earlier. My well, she's 14 now. Wonderful age. When
Time
she was
goes.
13, time
Mine's
straight when you're
33.
12. But I do know that my doctor's office, and this is just how they do it, is they had my no, she was 12 at the time. I can't say 13. She was 12 at the time. Have her sign something stating that I was allowed to go into the back room or to the back appointment with her, right? And then I was able to access her medical records, which I don't think at 12 to 13 that I should be I should have access to her medical records. B, I should still have a say in her treatment. Am I right?
Right.
But now it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, the doctor will sit and talk to her, even though Torgen's on that piece of paper. She'll sit and talk to her, and she's like, well, what do you think, Mom? I'm here. I will give you my input, but I kind of want to know what what we're doing. Like,
Right.
let me know what's going on. If there's medication that's involved, or another doctor that's involved, like, I have to take the call because I have to make the appointment. She can't drive, so I have to drive her. I have to drive her. So, but in this case, it wasn't like that. I don't think she actually had, what was it, a power of attorney over her.
Yep.
So she wasn't allowed to talk at doctor's appointments, like, whatsoever. She was told not to say anything. Now, her mother also altered her birth certificate.
Yep.
So she was actually older than what she was.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, if anybody really did the math and stuff, they would have figured it out. But a lot of, I mean, when I first heard about this case, I was blown away that someone would do that to their daughter. I never heard of Munchkin something, whatever it's called. It just blew me away that something like that happened. Then it caused her to have brain damage, and so she only had, like, um, what was it? The intelligence of a 7-year-old.
Well, I want to know how anybody would do that to their child. I mean, and I will say that
Yeah.
uh, why would you want to be I mean, you want to be your parent. You want your kids to grow and, eventually go on with their life, right?
Right.
And not sit at home with me because, again, she was homeschooled. I wouldn't want my kids homeschooled. I'd be like, get out of my house, go do something else,
Go out and play.
like
Eat
anything
some
else, like
mud.
anything,
It's good for you.
right? Anything else, like, make some friends, find somebody, anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you and I both know that's just how it is. But she didn't want to do
Well,
that.
this
She didn't want her to have any friends.
right. She was an extreme selfish person that you wanted people to feel sorry for her, to think of her as a superhero for taking care of a mentally handicapped and sickened daughter. And didn't she poison her mother or something, or was it her ex-husband?
I don't. No, nobody. Okay, so Dee Dee, Gypsy's mom, was poisoning her.
Yep.
So basically, she was getting all these pills and mimicking the symptoms of what was going on. So if she was drooling, there's pills, I guess, for that. Um, which I don't technically know. I mean, I guess that whole they had like a whole shelf full of nothing but medicine.
Right. I seen the
Like,
pictures. It was amazing.
and so, and I know you and I have had this conversation, and I can totally understand where she's coming from as far as you feel bad for her, um, considering she has to go through all of this. And she did run away at one point because she was into cosplay. I'm not really sure what technically that is. I don't know if do you know what cosplay is?
Cosplay? Oh
I
yeah.
don't know what it
That's
is.
what people like to
Yeah.
do,
I don't
like
know what it is.
dress up thing. Be it like anime, mostly anime and stuff like that. They like to dress up as the characters, and of course even things like Spider-Man and all that stuff. They dress up, and it's a fun time for them. Fantasy.
Is that like Comic-Con or something like that?
Exactly.
Is that
Yep.
what I'm something like that? Okay. So anyways,
Yep.
She goes to this convention and she meets this guy, and this isn't the first boyfriend or whatnot. So she meets this guy, they run away together. Well, I don't, one of the family friends found her, and her mother went and got her, brought her back home, tied her to the bed, and that's where she was for what she said, a week or two. I can't remember off the top of my
Wow.
head. And I thought, well, geez, why would you why would you do that? Honestly, why? Um,
Exactly.
I mean, you would think that I guess if you're on so much medication, you're not really going to get all those bed sores. Um, if that makes sense.
Right.
All right. So we're back there. So she decided, and then so obviously Dee Dee like breaks the laptop at this point. Okay. She just breaks this laptop. So, anyways, she decides to go back on. I don't know how she gets another computer. Okay. Um, she goes on a Christian dating site and she meets Nick. Uh, I can never pronounce. Is it what?
Um,
Do you know his last name? Do you know how to pronounce it, Jerry?
yeah, come on, I can't even say Munchkinhauser thing.
Munch,
I'm
Munch.
sorry, guys. I'm kind of having too much
He's
fun
gonna
with
call
it.
him Munchkins the whole show. The whole show. Yes, he's gonna call him Munchkins like the whole show.
There you go. Munchauser.
Okay.
Isn't
She
it
meets this
Munchauser?
Munchauser, Munchausen by proxy. Look, he got it! Yay!
Yeah.
You got it. So proud of you. Not Munchkins anymore. We don't have to use the word Munchkins.
No,
I'm
no,
like
we're not.
4'11", and I think he's making fun of me secretly.
No, I'm not at all. I I would never do
You
that,
are.
Reenie. You are my buddy.
Um, so she goes on the dating website. She meets this guy, Nick, and they talk for a year. But here's where the kicker is. They go see a Disney movie, some kind of princess Disney movie. She dresses up, whatever. She actually sends this guy $400 to wear something nice. Well, I want to know where she got the $400.
Yeah. And that was her boyfriend. Now the
So he
boyfriend,
jumped a bus
if
because he lived in Wisconsin, all the way to boyfriend at the time.
yeah, and he had
Go ahead.
autism, right? He was autistic. Reenie?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
But we, yes, I'm here. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. He was autistic, but remember what I told you about McDonald's? He was at McDonald's, um, watching porn and doing some dirty stuff. Okay, so he's been in trouble before.
Right.
You remember that, right?
Yep. I remember that. Yep.
So they go, yes. So she sends him $400. He takes the Greyhound bus, yada, 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 right? Wear something nice. They meet at the movies. Okay. They meet at the movies. So, anyways, story goes on is um they take a picture together. They have a picture. Well, I guess her mom was really upset at the fact that um they were getting too close. She didn't like that. But anyways, he went to the restroom, or no, he went and got popcorn, and she went to the restroom, and they met in the men's bathroom. And well, we can all, I can just say that. You know what? I'll just say it. They had sex. Okay.
Right.
And then they just went back and watched the movie like it was nothing. Right. And then they just went back to their normal lives and he went back to Wisconsin. So, anyways, they talk for a year. And basically, she's telling him all the stuff that her parents are doing, or her mom is doing. Um, and she wants her mom dead. The problem with that is she wanted Nick to do it.
Yep.
And she stole a knife from Walmart. So she told him she left tape, a certain amount of duct tape out. And she, oh my gosh, this was the craziest thing to me. I know you watched Dr. Phil, the doctor, not the
I
real doctor,
watched.
but the doctor.
Yeah, but I only watched a little bit of it. I mean, I just in the last few days, I mean, work and I've got other kind of stuff that I needed to do. And I wished I could have put more to it because this is one of the most interesting cases I have ever seen. Um, it's just incredible. And the guy's name was Nicholas Gudajan.
There you go to John.
Yep.
Um, hey, it's not, at least you're not calling him Munchkin. So she actually said
Munchausen.
that he was a vampire. Okay, he claimed he was a vampire, so that was the side of him that was ready to kill. And then she like was taking all these racy photos, and she was sending him like these pictures. And Dr. Phil, I know, was asking her, like, what about this one? She's like, that's what he wanted me to be with this person. And he said he was this person, but the vampire in him, is the one that killed my mother. But she set it up. She set up the knife, what she stole from Walmart. I didn't even know you could steal
She's, you know,
knives from Walmart. They sell
yeah,
knives at Walmart, like actual like hunting knives. Like I don't know. I guess I just haven't been in the hunting section.
they do. They do. It's behind glass though. But no,
So then
she
how did
said,
she get it? If it's
right.
behind glass, how did she get it?
She set all this stuff up perfectly. And I have to say is I don't believe she should be let out. I know a lot of people will say she was used, manipulated. She was pretty much a hostage of a crazy person, but she was kind of nuts too, to
Oh,
do all this stuff. Go ahead, what?
right. Okay. This is where I'm having the problem. Okay. You're at a doctor's appointment. I don't give a crap who the heck you are. The doctor has put in his notes that she could walk, she could do this, she could do that. So what you're telling me is you're not going to step up in a doctor's appointment and say, you know what? I can do this. I don't give a crap if my mom is sitting here. Correct? Now, if you're stealing from Walmart and you're having sex in a bathroom at a movie theater, you are very well capable of getting out of that damn chair, going to tell somebody, saying, listen, I need you to call the cops. I need you to do whatever it is that you need to do because this is what's going on. Call my dad. Because her dad was always trying to see her and it was always
Right.
something. But he was paying his child support and everything else. So call somebody, anybody. And she's like, I don't think anybody would have believed me. Nobody would have believed me. No, it's because I
No,
think he
you
just wanted her
gotta
dead.
hold on a second, Reenie. Is that when it came to all of this, remember, this kid has been, her mind's been twisted and everything else. So for her to tell a doctor, yes, I can, mom just keeps me in the wheelchair and stuff like that, she is not going to do that. She is deathly afraid of her mother. But yet, when she gets a chance with somebody that is a pure uh, of her own, of around her age group and stuff like that. I mean, this is it. This is their cosplay. This is their way to, kind of rid her of all the bad stuff that's ever happened to Gypsy.
Okay, again, I can sympathize with the fact that her mother was horrible. Okay, I can very much sympathize with that. But at the same time, you you're online, okay? You have had every opportunity to get off. I mean, just leave that movie theater. Just leave anywhere. Just go anywhere. I mean, just start running. Or just if you're in that bathroom, if you have time to do what you're going to do, then you actually technically have time to leave. I'm sorry to say that, leave.
Right.
But she didn't want to. I believe that she wanted her mom dead. So why not just take this guy and say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. So let's just go ahead and I want you to kill her because I can't do it myself." But
Right.
she was able to get a knife herself.
Well, she's able to get a knife. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but
okay.
she was
Anybody
able to
can do
send
that.
him Yeah, but she was able to send him $400. Where did she get the $400? She steal it from her mom's purse. Her mom's not going to know that there's money gone because I could tell you if my kid took
You never
money
know.
from my purse, I would know that it was gone.
Right. But if I'm correct, didn't she also, in one of the documentaries, it said that she had money stashed around the house so that nobody, uh, could say, hey, wait a minute, you have this amount of money in your account. No, she does not. She's got it hidden around. So it kind of made her a little bit more believable.
Okay, okay, so we'll say that this money is hidden around, okay? Because I didn't hear that, but that's I mean, that's a possibility, and she probably did. Okay, so where did she go to send it? Who's gonna send it?
That I do not know. As far as I know, the house is still there. Everything's pretty much still there.
Hmm.
You know, let's go in it. Let's go check it out. I'm a paranormal investigator. Maybe we can find something. You are too. You're a doll healer. You know, we should go do that.
I mean, I think somebody may live there. I don't want to just be like, hey, by the way, I just want to see what's
Let's
going on in
see.
there. Okay, okay, but I don't know. But anyways, so she convinced him to kill her mom. So he goes in, he kills her. He stabs her 17 times while she's sleeping. And then he stabbed her in the neck and like almost decapitated her. What, and as she's
Right.
screaming out for Gypsy and to like, I need help. And all of a sudden, there's no Gypsy because she's hiding in the bathroom with, her hands over her ears. And then they had a secret code when it was done. I think it was like a couple knocks and scratches or whatever. And then he tells her that she needs to go shave, which is even creepier. They clean up, right? And then they go and have sex. Does that seem, I mean, your mom's dead.
Right.
That should be the
Well,
last thing on your mind.
right. According to this here in 2019, there is nobody living there. Um, let's see here.
I don't live that far
And
from Missouri. I think it's like I think Springfield, Missouri is like 6 hours from me.
it'd be about 7, 8 hours for me. So here it is. Who owns it? Um, Bernice Russell purchased it 1997 as the Blanchard heirs were decreased. Um, upon Russell's death in 1999, the house was donated to Bernice A. Russell Community Development Corp. But it doesn't say Um, can you visit it? Let's see. Blanche's house through the years.
I don't I don't think you can I don't I don't think you can. So while he's looking that up, I'll
They
finish my
made it
story.
into a museum.
No, they did not.
Yes, I'm looking right at it. The Blanchard House through the
They
years
made it to a
here.
museum?
Experience the museum is equipped with a ramp on the side of the property, which access to the front
Mhm.
porch. All galleries are wheelchair accessible. Blanchard House Museum. Is this really it? No, this can't be it. Okay,
I don't know.
Gypsy Rose
But my
Blanchard.
question is, like, how much is the cover chart sticking in there?
I don't know. It's still pink.
Because now I'm curious. Yeah, it's still pink. It's pink. But yeah, I didn't know they turned it into a museum. That would be, I mean, I don't know. That'd be
After
definitely
Minnie
something that I would
Blanchard
go to
died.
see. I mean, definitely.
Yeah. It's museum back on city's historic. Um,
Mhm.
I wonder if she's going to go there when she gets out. I don't know if this is the right. I don't
Do you
know.
think she would
It
honest to God go there
bumps.
when she gets out?
I don't know. I mean, I know that Sybil. You remember Sybil, the woman with what 30 some
Mhm.
personalities? I've been in her house. It's nobody knew this, but the it took years till it finally came out. Dodge Center, Minnesota, is where all that happened, and um,
Really?
my yeah, my dad was telling me about it, and I'm like, no. So then I had to watch the movie with Sally Field. Scared the you know what out of me, and so Dad said, "Hey, come on, I'll take you over there." So his friend Dave Barry owned the place, and we went there, and they said, yeah, they said, look in the closets, and in the closet there is fingernail scratches everywhere and drawings all over the place. They said that they did get a hold of her, God, many years ago, and asked her, do you want the drawings that you got in here and your clothes? And she said, no, burn them all.
Mhm.
But they kept them. They still have it in the house, and it's just amazing. She's dead now and everything, but yeah,
Mhm.
she was, wow. She was going to visit it at one point, but then somebody let it out that Sybil was coming back to the house, and no, she decided to cancel that.
Cancel.
Weird.
She just had to cancel that.
Yeah.
But definitely, if there, we'll have to definitely look into that. If there actually is,
Well, I'm trying to look it up here, and it's
I don't know. I've never
I
heard.
don't know.
I
It
I just
jumps
assumed
around
somebody
for some
bought
reason.
it. Like somebody bought it, and then it's just kind of like, okay, well, I moved in. I don't know if I could really move into a house that like somebody was like, that somebody was killed in. I don't know, but I'm creepy, so I may.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I probably would have like sold.
Well, it says
Sold.
neighbors are unhappy about visitors, which have increased with the release of Hulu's show, The Act, about Gypsy and
Mhm.
things. So yeah, it's on Hulu.
That I watched that whole series when it first came out. Okay, my mom and I were like glued to the TV because I was living in Tennessee at the time with my mom, and we would watch it like religiously. It was like our show that we watched. And I know that my mom always said, she's like, "Oh, I don't know how anybody could do that." But again, we again, I don't know. Why would you kill your mom in the first place? Why would you have somebody kill your mom? So then this is where it gets sticky. Well, I'm going to go back to this real quick. They sent that knife to his parents' house in Wisconsin because they took a bus to Wisconsin because that's where she was going to live. I mean, it is what it is, right? But then she posts on
Mm.
Facebook and said that, excuse my language, and I quote, the fat bitch is dead or something on that order. On Facebook. Why would you post that on Facebook? So, of course, the cops
Yeah,
find it, the
weird.
IP address, which is linked to Wisconsin. There's Gypsy. She's walking. Um, so anyways, she's like, I don't know what happened to my mom. Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened to my mom. She had to have known what happened to her mom. She was there. And then you have Nick, who is basically taking the fall. He's like, I did this, 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 blah, 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 right?
Right.
He gets a life sentence. Gypsy Rose gets 10 years and she gets out on December 28th.
Yeah,
How is
I
that
don't.
fair?
She's nuts, plain and simple. She's nuts. All that stuff did it to her and stuff. But to kill somebody, especially that many times, is a crime of pure evil. And she definitely should not be. Uh, something's going to happen. Something will
Well, she
happen.
got married. She got married in prison.
Yeah.
How is that fair? And I
That's
understand that. I mean, I know that's a common thing, okay? Like people just get married in prison. Like I don't think I could marry a prisoner. Could
let's
you imagine?
let's talk about that for a moment here. Number one, why
You're
would
like,
you want to?
well,
That is the oddest thing in the world. Why would you want to? Oh, I went and married Jeffrey Dahmer if he's still alive, if he was still alive.
okay,
It's like, why? Why
my
would you do
shirt.
that for? Oh yeah, Dahmer's diner. You're bad. You're bad. Um,
It's one of my favorite
that
shirts,
whole
but
thing
guess
is weird.
what?
But you women are nuts. You women do it all the time.
Okay, first off, you wouldn't catch me marrying any prisoner whatsoever. Okay. What happens if that prisoner comes out and you're like, oh, that's great. But I'm like, she killed her mom. Like now I'm worried about like her mother-in-law should worry about her. Okay. Like, like how do you what happens if she's like, oh, I don't like my mother-in-law, I'm just gonna kill her. Not a big deal. I got 10 years
What?
before I could do 10 years
That
again.
everybody's worried that Gypsy's going to kill her mother-in-law.
No, I'm just saying I would be afraid if
Oh,
like my son married a prisoner and then he brought her home and she killed her mom. I'm
I
like,
I
don't
would
bring her to my house.
I would tell my son, get out, get out. You don't need to be here. You get a life on your own. You should go live up in the woods where she can kill animals that you guys can eat. You know, God, they just
That
the
you
whole
guys
thing
can
is so wacky. Why do people want to marry
eat.
people in prison? I don't understand. Oh, nobody knows him like I do. Bite me.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people. I don't know. Like, and I understand maybe when you get out of prison, you can go ahead and like, marry, maybe get married, maybe start a family. I don't know. Okay. I mean, like, I'm not 110% sure. But what I'm trying to say is, I mean, I don't know anybody that would want to marry a prisoner. Anybody. I mean,
No,
I wouldn't. That's just my opinion. I just wouldn't. There's no
God.
way. I mean, especially a killer. Okay, maybe a drug dealer, but not a
Right.
killer. I don't know. It's just me. But I guess it takes all kinds. I mean, if you think about it, it really does. Um, but I just want to know how she doesn't get in trouble for this stuff and he's got like a life sentence. Like there is no possibility for parole at this point. None. But he's the one taking the fall for this. Like that to me in itself is just it's bizarre. She should have some kind of
Right.
repercussions besides 10 years. There's no reason why she only got 10. She's not even serving the whole 10 years. But
Right.
he should have gotten a life sentence too. I mean, most people that are like gonna put out a hit for somebody, 9 times out of 10, they technically are in trouble longer than 10 years. And I do think that they sympathize with her a little bit more just because of her circumstances with her mother. But she's like
Right.
on the fake doctor. Okay, Dr. Phil, you're a fake doctor. I happen to like Dr. Phil. She I'm gonna be watching Dr. Phil tomorrow. Uh, okay.
And yeah, and he'll be on there going, there was people on this show that said I was fake. Well, who do you?
I, I mean,
I'm not
I
fake.
don't.
That's a real
I,
DR in front of my name.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think you can just kind of go online and do like a certificate, and like you could just put doctor in front of your name. I think
Yeah.
there's like some kind of thing for that.
Well, there's Dr.
I should
Sheldon
do it. I
Cooper.
could be. I
You
know, but I
know,
could be Dr. Reeni Rodriguez. Like, how cool would that be?
there you go. Doctor of what? Bullhickey. A doctor of
I don't
bullhickey.
know. It's Dr. Phil. I could just start interviewing people. Like, I'm not a real doctor, but I could be a real doctor. But I want to hear your story.
That's funny.
Okay, but she sat down with Dr. Phil and she's like, I don't want my mom dead. Well, it's kind of late now. And she did say that the she actually feels free in prison. And I'm sure she does, considering the circumstances that, all that medication. Could you imagine? Whew. And you know me, Jerry. I'm
Right.
always trying to find some alternative for
Oh,
medic. I know you get so mad at me about that. I'm like, can you help me Google this? Remember, I make you do it because I'm like, I would
right.
rather have a natural medicine for my children.
Yes.
Um, if it's okay. I mean, because there are some medications that they're just not okay to try a natural thing. But like I said, I think she should.
Right.
I cannot even
Most
believe they're letting her
definitely.
out. It just makes me mad.
Right.
I
How
mean,
can you join the chat
she
and say
sure.
hello to people?
I think it just says join the chat. I don't know. So, like I said, she's getting out after Christmas. So she will be.
What's that?
I said She'll be getting out after Christmas, December 28th. She didn't serve her whole 10 years. Um, so now, what are you gonna do? Now she's out. She's married. She'll probably start a family. I know she's got family to back her up. Her dad, for one, they've been very supportive. Um, I don't know. I'd love your take on this, Jerry, on how you feel about her getting out of prison early and Nick being in like jail for the rest of his life, which I find odd. And they won't even give him an appeal. No, Jerry's like, I have no idea. No, I just asked like your take on it. No,
Um, what?
I said I asked your take on it. Like, how do you feel about
Again,
the situation?
it's about her getting out and all that stuff. You were breaking up, so I couldn't hear
What's your
exactly what
take
you were
on it?
saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, what is your take
Well,
on the
I think the whole thing
situation?
of it is right. I just think that it's got to be very careful because something more is going to happen. Mark my words on that. I see something going about to happen. You know,
Do you think she'll kill again? Do you think she will
it'd be
convince
very
somebody to kill again? Hmm.
There's that possibility. Your mic cut out.
Feel about that? No, I don't know what's going on. I can't. All right. What do you feel
Oh, her
about
about her having.
children, like other children? What do you
Okay,
feel
you
about
kept
Gypsy
breaking
having
up. I
children?
don't know what you said. Oh
How
my
would you feel
God.
about Gypsy having
I
children?
feel sorry for the children. I feel that it's a bad idea. It's a very bad idea. It's actually
Why?
really scary. Well, because I mean, look at how she was abused and stuff like that. This could be a natural thing where she could be an abuser herself. But it also, because a lot of people do that, where they're being abused themselves, and then they always say, "I will never be like that. I will never be like that." They end up being like that, probably at a lower level and stuff. And I just don't think she should have children. You know, like how
Well,
old
what
is
I would
she
say
now?
about she's got to be I would say in her 30s of some sort. Um so basically I mean she's probably at that age where she wants to have children, she wants to have a family. I mean, but I would technically I think history would repeat itself,
Could
honestly.
be. Yeah.
But I don't know. But maybe the guy that she's with maybe can help her along the way, because you would assume that she would have to have some kind of counseling someplace along the line.
True. That is very true.
I mean, Dr. Phil is not going to be able to help her. Okay. Like she needs real counseling. And I believe that maybe in prison, she could have gotten maybe some of the counseling that she needs, but she's going to have to transition into the real world and not on all this medication and, living in a wheelchair. Like she doesn't know what the real world is about, because she basically went from living with her mother all the way to prison, if you think about it. So she really doesn't know any better.
Right.
She really technically doesn't even know how to be a mom if she wanted to be a mom. I mean, that's just my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that.
So, I
She
mean,
shouldn't have
but
kids,
then
though.
she took Nick's life on top of it. Okay, but who are we to say that she can't have kids? I mean, what can the court technically do? Make her get her tubes tied? Put her on birth control? Is that like a should that be a stipulation
There's
of like
nothing
her
that they can
parole?
do what's Yeah, there's nothing they can do. I mean, if she's going to do it, she's going to do it. Wasn't there a case a while back about some woman that was in for murder, and then she was told that she could never have kids or they would be taken away from her? Do you remember that
There
case?
is. I do remember, but I cannot. I'm gonna have to look into that because I can't. I don't want to say what I think it is and then be wrong on top of it. But I do remember there was
Look at show
there was
topics,
that.
baby girl.
I
We got
know
them
show
rolling.
topic. We've been doing that all day today. Uh,
We have been
well,
actually,
look at
yeah.
Casey Anthony. We actually have. Look at Casey Anthony. What happens if she wants to have kids? I mean, what happens then?
You know
She
what?
allowed to
I
have
think
kids?
Casey Anthony is a little different. Well, I think she's a little bit different than this gypsy, to be
Okay,
honest. And does she
but
have children? Have you looked it up?
nah, I just, a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, I watched that documentary and I changed my mind about Casey Anthony." Whatever. I didn't. Whatever. Okay. I didn't find it. Whatever. I think she killed her kid, and that was the end of it. But
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
trying to
most definitely.
that's just. That's my opinion. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm entitled to that. Heck, it's my show, so yeah, I am entitled to that. But anyways, I do believe at the end of the day, if Gypsy, in a way, if she didn't get away from her mother, I don't think she should have had her mother killed. I think she should have picked a different way to deal with the situation. I believe Gypsy could have been dead herself at the end of the day. But at the same
Right.
time, I also believe that her mom would have just held on just a little bit to keep all that stuff going and going. But I eventually think that somebody, if it didn't kill her, somebody would have found out that her mom was just full of crap at the end of the day.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. So we'll wrap
Okay.
this
So
up.
she's not married.
Gypsy Rose is married. She got married in prison.
No. Casey Anthony.
Oh, she's not married? I don't know.
Right. So there was a man though who was 38 years old, bar employee. He was. Oh no, I guess not. No, this is a different guy. Yeah. No, I don't think she's
I don't know.
some
It's
guy
been a
named
while since
Patrick.
I've looked into Casey Anthony.
She did move into Patrick's home, West Palm Beach, Florida. Oh, that's when the. Oh my God! So Patrick helped Casey launch a private detective agency. Proof of confirmation that Casey and Patrick were ever romantically involved. So that's funny. Um,
Well, people
Calling
are
up and
fascinated.
saying to her, yeah, that my child's missing. What should I do? Well, what would she say? Well, did you put her in a bag at all? Is there maggots
Did
around?
you?
Is there a strong odor coming from places? God, look for
Okay.
these things. I can tell you from experience that would be Casey Anthony.
My God, Jerry.
God save a duck. Good grief.
You can't. That is
That's
horrible.
they should have
Okay.
never put that in there. That uh,
Some of these mothers
God,
are bad. Okay, they're just bad. I personally am now going
yeah.
to call the hotline and be like, "Well, is there a number?" No, there's like there's a number because I'm going to probably call it tomorrow and be like, "Well, this is what happened." Okay, so now what do I do? And see what happens. Like, would I get to talk to Casey Anthony,
There
or
you
is it
go.
just some random thing? Because now I'm curious. I'm gonna want to know
Some
now.
guy named Patrick and Casey Anthony have this private detective thing going.
Did they find?
That's
Did they find missing kids, or
I know
what? Are
we
they?
hopped
Is this
off
like
the
a?
trail here.
I know, but now I'm curious because, like, did
Well, I
she
suppose
find?
they
Like, do
do a
they
little
help
bit
find
of
missing kids,
everything.
or do they just like find like the cheaters, like you would, that show Cheaters that they had that I used to love to watch because I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? Do they? Is that something like that too,
Oh
or like
yeah.
what kind of private investigations do they do?
Well, it didn't say. It just said that we'd have to do the research, and then it would be another topic.
I know, but now I'm
Maybe
curious.
call her up, get her on the phone on the show. Well,
What happened to your daughter?
because I want to do the same thing to mine. You know, no, that's just wrong. That's insane. You're going to go to hell
I
for
don't think
laughing
that's the
at
right
that.
number, guys. I don't
And
think that's the right number.
yeah,
I know, but it's not the from you because now I'm going to call it tomorrow because I want to know what kind of private investigations that they have going on. And I know this is way off topic from our Gypsy Rose thing, but I think we're on to something. I think I'm going to call it tomorrow. I got nothing better to do, at the end of the day.
Yep, this is real. It's in Florida. 34 she is now. Oh no,
Casey.
she's more than 34.
Hmm. I don't know. 34. Again, I don't think she's going to help me find any missing children. Okay? But, that's that. So, I guess I'll just deal with that tomorrow when we look it up. Talk about Casey Anthony.
I
So,
thought that they never found Kaylee's body, her daughter's
I
body.
thought they did.
They did. They did. Yeah. Skeleton remains found with a blanket inside of a laundry bag in a wooded area near the Anthony's family home. Varied, let's see, investigative reports and trial testimony varied between duct tape being found near the front and mouth of the skull. That poor little kid. She was such a cute little girl.
Mhm. She really was. And that's why I'm saying I find it very odd that mothers would even decide to kill their children or drug their children and just want to be their caregivers. I
Yeah.
that in itself, like, I love my children. I really do, but I couldn't imagine saying, take this because this is what we're gonna do. I couldn't imagine that. And then I wouldn't blame them for wanting to kill me. You know what I mean? If I was gonna do that to them. But I have some good
Right.
kids, so it should be good.
Well, I always thought her
But we
father
only
had
have a couple
something
minutes.
to do with it. Oh, okay.
No, her father, Casey Anthony's. Nah, I don't
Yeah,
think so,
George.
man. I don't think so.
Well, there was
Nah,
a lot of
no.
people that thought that, and she even said too, Kaylee's death, largely pinning Casey's death, Kaylee's on George, as well as a glimpse of how her life after the trial. Oh, okay, so it's talking about more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really think that he had something to do with it, at least hiding the body or something. That's his little girl. He didn't want her, you know.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that my dad would help me bury my child's body? I don't think so. My dad would
No,
then
your dad
kill
would
me
kick
and be
your
like, "Phew,
butt. Your
oh, kick
dad,
my butt." No,
your
oof.
daughter is your dad's biggest buddy.
Oh, I know. She walks on water. So I will tell you this, my dad would oh no, he would have killed me and then trust me, he'd have been like, "I did it. I did it." But we're going to end this on a we have to end it cuz it's been fun.
Yeah, it
And
was
it's
fun.
late.
Weird note. Yeah.
So thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, hon. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
All right. All right. All right. And you guys all have a good night and thanks for listening.